Good evening, groovy citizens, and happy fantastic Friday. Y'all, it's Friday. It is the end of the work week for most of us. If you have to work tomorrow and Sunday, you know, my prayers are with you. But for the rest of us, it is the end of the work week. This has been a long week. As I always like to say, it's been a productive week, but a long week nonetheless. So let's jump right on in because it is Friday. So y'all know that's date night. And me and my other half are going out to get some nourishment. So I need to wrap this up. So when he pulls up, I don't have to be going back and forth with him. So today I'm going to be sharing with you people who don't deserve your trust or your respect. And these are based on some Stoic principles. So number one, I have 9 different types of people I want to share with you. Number one is the manipulative individual. So these people are the masterminds of deception who know how to artfully craft their web of lies and emotional manipulation. They wear masks of charm and concern. Oh, but underneath that mask lies a calculating mind that uses others for personal gain. Well, how do you spot them? Well, you look for inconsistencies in their stories and actions. They will promise the world but deliver nothing. Their words oftentimes don't match their deeds. Pay attention to how they talk about others. They oftentimes badmouth those who aren't around, which is a hint of how they might and or may talk about you when you're not around. Number 2, the perpetual critic. Now, we all know people like this. These people find fault with everything and everyone around them, and nothing escapes their critical eye. I mean, absolutely nothing. Oftentimes, their criticism is less about the people they target, but more about their own insecurities. They typically project their fears, disappointments, or self-doubt onto others. So how do you deal with these people? First, you have to be able to tell the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. So, in other words, just real quickly, constructive criticism is if I say to you, you know, I think you're a bright person, but when you go out in public and every other word is profanity, it makes people think your vocabulary is limited. That's constructive. Destructive criticism is when you say to someone, well, I just don't like the way your clothes fit on you. You need to go lose some weight because you just look a hot mess. That's very destructive to someone. Plus, it's hurtful. Now, you might think it's being constructive, but unless you know that person and y'all are like this, you have no business letting that come out of your mouth. And even if you do just know of that person, you're not really close with them, there are ways that you can say things that are said in a very constructive tone. You could say something like, excuse me, y'all, you could say something to someone like, you know, in our community, we have a high rate of obesity as well as, obesity as well as diabetes and anything else you can think of. And so I want our people to thrive and to flourish and all these other great things that you can use. So will you do me a huge favor and really consider getting your weight down to a healthier weight, both for you as well as for your family? You know what I'm saying? That's constructive criticism. Destructive is if I sit there and talk about you and call you every name in the book but a child of God. That's destructive. So listen to what they say, but more importantly, observe why they say it. Okay, so remember, we're talking about the perpetual critic. Listen to what they say, but more importantly, observe why they say it. So dealing with these kinds of people can be draining, and no matter how much positivity you pour into them, it never seems to be enough. You can't control what they say, but you can control how you react to it. I think recently I talked about focusing on the things that you can control, and you cannot control what comes out of people's mouths, but you can control how you react to it. Therefore, setting boundaries is critical. Politely but firmly make it clear that while you are open to constructive feedback, unwarranted negativity isn't welcomed, nor will it be tolerated. And when I say, when you say that, you've got to say it with a straight face. You don't smile. You don't kiki up in their face. You just give it to them real. Now, I'm not saying you have to cuss them, but you get where I'm going with this. You've got to be very clear, and you've got to be very real with them. I can deal with the constructive feedback, but that negativity will not be tolerated here. And if that's all you have, then I would prefer that you stay away from me. Period. End of sentence. And either they can like it or not like it. Who cares? Number 3, the fair weather friend. These are people who are all sunshine and smiles when things are going great. But the moment a storm hits your life, they are nowhere to be found. They always seem to be absent when you need them the most. These people have a way of making you feel like you are truly connected, but their loyalty is as fleeting as their presence. These people can be spotted by paying attention to how they respond when you talk about your challenges and seek their support. Do they change the subject? Do they make excuses or simply just disappear until the skies are clear again? This behavior is a clear indicator of their fair weather nature. So how do you deal with them? You enjoy their company when they are around, but don't rely on them for emotional support. Because some of these people can be family members. Some may be co-workers. Some may be childhood friends that you grew up with. The list can go on and on. So if overall they are good people, they just tend to flee when you have problems, but they want you around when they have them. You know, enjoy them, but then you've got to know that you cannot count on them for that emotional support that you need. And that's really sad, to be honest with you. So me personally, I say just cut them off altogether. Number 4. The gossip monger. This person thrives on gossip and hearsay, oftentimes spreading stories that are not theirs to tell. They use a lot of he said, she said language in their conversations. We all know people like that, right? They oftentimes have a ton of details about other people's lives that haven't been confirmed, nor are they relevant to them. These people oftentimes will come off as being in the loop or informed, but the truth is their habit of gossiping is a sign of deeper issues. Sometimes this is because of a need for attention, a desire to feel superior, or an attempt to redirect attention away from their own lives. But here's what I want you to think about. Remember, if they gossip to you, chances are they're gossiping about you. And that's just the reality of life. If they are, now, I'm not saying if that's your good girlfriend or your close buddy, that might be a little different. But if you have people that just love to come up and gossip, honey, if they're talking about other folks, they're talking about you too. So how do you deal with these people? The key is not to fuel their fire. Be very cautious about what you share with them and avoid participating in conversations that revolve around gossip. This is why I tell people all the time, you've got to be careful who and what you tell your business to. Who you tell your business to and what part of your business you tell them. A lot of times I see people on social media put all their dirty laundry out there for everybody to see. And my question is why? Everybody doesn't need to know your entire life. And then you wonder why people are walking around talking about you. Well, because you've given them the ammunition that they need to talk about. People wouldn't know about most of our lives if we didn't put it out there and tell it. Okay? So be careful about who you tell your business to and how much of it you decide to tell. And that's just a no-brainer right there. Here's the other thing. You've got to have an inner circle. Like I know I have an inner circle that I can share things with, and I don't have to worry about them getting out, and the same with me. But I do know that there are people that I have to be very careful about what I tell because they like to run back and tell everything. And 9 times out of 10, I'm only going to share with you the things that I don't care if you go back and talk about anyway. And here's the thing, and I'm going to leave you be on that subject. If you tell them something good about yourself, tell them that you just got a promotion, tell them that you just landed a new client, or you opened this business, or tell them something like that. They're not going to run and tell that. Oh, but they want to tell the juicy gossip. They want to talk about how you and your husband aren't getting along, how you and your man not getting along, how your business is flopping, how you were possibly asked to leave your job, you resigned, or you were fired. They love to talk about that stuff. But the good stuff, they ain't gonna talk about that. But I digress. Number 5, the narcissist. This person lives in a world that revolves solely around them. And we all have met somebody like that. They are oftentimes charming and charismatic, drawing you into their world with ease. Oh, but this charm is a facade for their deep-seated self-absorption and lack of empathy for others. They rarely consider the feelings or well-being of others, and their interactions are often one-sided. So when you engage with this person, you may find yourself consistently offering support and admiration, but receive little to nothing in return from them. Because remember, everything is always around. It's always about them. It's not about you. It's about them. So it's hard to identify narcissists because they have learned to create a favorable image of themselves. However, when they are asked to show empathy, they can't or they don't. 9 times out of 10, they refuse to. They truly have a lack of interest in other people's lives. That's just the reality. They don't care about other people's lives. They don't. It's only about their life, about what they're doing. That's all they care about. This is why you have to have a strong sense of self and set very clear and firm boundaries. You have got to set very clear and firm boundaries. And when I say clear boundaries, I'm talking about crystal clear, that they don't have to wonder, well, did she mean this or was she talking about that? No, they are very clear about your boundaries, where they stand in your life, you know, if in fact they can even be a part of your life, and all that other good stuff. Number 6, the flatterer. They love to give other people compliments. Oh, but it comes with a motive. They use praise as a tool to gain favor or manipulate situations to their advantage. Flatterers tend to lay it on thick, and their praise, while seemingly pleasant, can oftentimes feel insecure or exaggerated. The danger with engaging with this person is that you could be swayed by their charm, which could lead you to overlook their flaws. Let me put a pin right there. That's how a flatterer works. They lay on the charm so thick. And that's why a lot of times women, well, men too, but we get in trouble when we meet that flatterer. Honey, their charm is so good that you see past that charm. And I'm sorry, you don't see past the charm and see the jackass that they really are. I'm sorry, I just have to put it that way, because I need you to understand that that's how good they are at what they do. They put up this screen, so all you see is the good in them, but you don't see the flaws that they have. Not saying that we don't all have flaws, but I'm talking about the ones that can be very detrimental to you. I'm talking about the ones that you find out that they love to be controlling. Some of them are very violent, be it physically or verbally. I mean, the list can go on, but their charm is so thick and they just lay it on so good, honey. You don't see all of that. You see that down the road. Or to do things you wouldn't normally do. Again, these people that are flatterers, they can talk you right up out of your you know what, okay? They can talk you right on up out of them underwear and have you doing things that you never in your life thought you would ever do. Why? Because they flatter you so much. and you just, you know, kikiing and taking it all in. You need to keep your eyes open at all times. And when I say do things that you normally wouldn't do, I mean, they may have you going places and hanging out with people that you would never normally hang out with. But because that flatterer is so good at what they do, they've got you convinced, oh, baby, you know what? I got your back. I would never do anything to hurt you. Everything I do it because I care about you. And they don't give a daggone about you. So when dealing with this person, take their words with a grain of salt. Appreciate the compliments, but maintain a healthy skepticism. Pay attention to their actions, as these often speak louder than their flattering words. Number 7, the victim. This person sees themselves as always being unjustly wronged by life, people, and situations. The victim adopts this role as a core part of their identity, often using it to gain sympathy or evade personal responsibility. They tend to refuse to acknowledge any role they play in their own predicaments. Let me put a pin right there. I've always said that whenever things happen, both people play a role. However, when people tell you the story, they only want to tell you what the other person did, what the other person said, but they don't tell you what they did and what they said. That's why, me personally, if you tell me something, I'm asking questions. Okay, so I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but what did you say? What did you do? And of course, they're going to look at you like, huh? What do you mean? Yeah. I'm asking that question for a reason, because I know that anytime something happens, good, bad, or indifferent, both people play a part. It's not just the one part. I mean, the one person that has played a role in this. You played a role in this somewhere, even if it's just staying with that person when you should have cut them off a long time ago. But I digress. They think all of their problems are due to external factors, and dealing with them can be emotionally draining because their narrative is dominated by complaints and grievances, leaving little room for positive or constructive dialogue. So you can easily recognize this type of person by their pattern of blaming others and internalizing their issues. They enjoy wallowing in their perceived helplessness. So how do you deal with the victim? Well, you must maintain a balance between compassion and self-preservation. You can offer support and advice, but be aware of being dragged into their cycle of negativity. And then encourage them to get help. Because the reality is that's what they need. They need help. They just don't realize they need help, but they do. Because they make everything about them. The whole world is against them. Everybody's out to keep them from prospering. No, sweetie, a lot of times that's just in your mind. Okay, a lot of times it's in your mind. So encourage them to get the help that they need that you can't really offer them. Number 8, the envious. These people harbor a silent resentment towards other people's success and achievements. They appear supportive on the surface, but underneath, they are oftentimes struggling with their feelings of jealousy and inadequacy. Envy doesn't always manifest itself openly, which makes it harder to identify. They may downplay your accomplishments or manifest itself in passive-aggressive behavior or finding ways to undermine your achievements. They oftentimes come off as being competitive. Pay attention to how they react to your success or good news. How to deal with them. Don't let them diminish your achievements or dampen your spirit. The reality is when you meet someone who is envious of you, you're going to know it. Because whenever you have something good happen in your life and you go, oh, girl, let me tell you about this great opportunity that came up or something good, they sit in there, they're nodding their heads like this. And then they go, oh, okay, that's nice. Girl, but let me tell you about me. Let me tell you what happened to me. Let me tell you about my promotion. Let me tell you about my new man, my house, my this, my that, my the other. They don't want to hear about you and your stuff. They don't. But they want to keep telling you about their stuff. So you've got to recognize that. And when you meet people like that, again, my best approach to that is just cut them off. Cut them off, period, end of sentence. Now, if you choose to hang around them because maybe they're family members, you can do that. That's up to you. But you need to do so and be cautious about it. And when it happens, call them on the carpet about it. Call them on the carpet about it. That's when you're telling their good news and they go, oh, that's nice. Girl, but let me tell you about this. And you say, you know what, wait, hold up, hold. I notice that every time I want to tell you about something good in my life, you cut me off. No, not cut me off. You jump immediately to what's going on in your life. You don't acknowledge it. You don't say Michelle or Myrtle Jean or whatever your name may be. You don't say, well, that's nice. And ask a few questions. So when does this new job start? And so how did you come about this? And, you know, what's the work environment like? Or whatever the case may be. You just immediately jump right on into your life and what's going on with you. So I'm going to need you to make sure you are, if you're supposed to be my friend, encouraging me and being happy for me. Because why should I keep being happy for you if you can't be happy for me? Because here's the other thing. You could always I found out a long time ago, tell people what you want or don't like. They don't hear you. Treat them the way they treat you, then they hear you. So when they go to tell you about something going on in their lives, then you can say, that's nice, but let me tell you about what's going on in my life. I guarantee you they're going to call you on the carpet about it. And that's, you can say, well, wait a minute, hold up now. Because you do this to me all the time. Just saying. Last but not least, number 9, the judgmental. This person has a tendency to make quick and harsh judgments about others. They can't stand views and or lifestyles that are not the same as theirs. And we all know people like that. They are quick to label, criticize, and dismiss others without trying to understand their perspectives. They tend to think their way of thinking is the only correct one. Look for signs of inflexibility in their attitude and a lack of openness to different viewpoints. They usually aren't willing to engage in meaningful dialogue, preferring instead to impose their views on others. So how do you deal with them? Well, maintain your moral values and not be swayed by their narrow-mindedness. The key is to acknowledge their opinions without internalizing them. I'm going to say this. There is a guy. I don't know this man personally. I vaguely remember when he sent me a friend request because we had mutual friends. And so I went on and accepted it because, you know, he looked harmless. When I tell you this man posts some of the dumbest stuff, he's always making posts about women, belittling them. Yesterday, he put up a post about a woman who marries a man and hyphenates their last name. Fellas, just know that this is not going to end well. I'm just telling you what his post said. So I wasn't going to respond because I don't get I don't have time to get involved in stupidity. But I said, nope, I'm going to respond to this one. So I said, you know, I'm going to have to differ with you on that one. I said, because a lot of times women hyphenate their last names or don't even take their husband's last names for various reasons. Sometimes it's because they have their children have their last name. And they're young, so they don't want to change their last name excuse me, completely when they have young children. A lot of times it's for business purposes. They've established and built this business with the name that they have. And for them to change it, it's going to require them to change so many documents pertaining to that business outside of the normal stuff. I said, and then you have some people that don't change it for cultural reasons. And so, excuse me, he proceeds to respond back and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. And this is a biblical principle to take on your husband's last name. Well, you know me, honey, I did a Google search and I typed in, is there anywhere in the Bible that says you have to drop your last name when you get married? And the response that I found was, no, it is not. It is not a biblical principle. There's no mandate. Is what it said specifically. There's no mandate that a woman has to change or drop her maiden name when she gets married. It talked about how that is a Western choice that people have decided to do over the years. And it's become tradition for women to do that. Now, I do know women who have dropped their maiden name because they didn't like it. Maybe it was ugly. They got picked on. I don't know. But I've heard women say that they dropped their maiden name because they didn't like it. And they liked their husband's last name better. So my name was Michelle Fufu. And I didn't like that growing up. And I'm marrying a John Williams. 9 times out of 10, I probably would drop my maiden name. I wouldn't come out and say that, of course, and take on my husband's name. So I'm now Michelle Williams. But people have various reasons why they do it. But basically what it was saying that in early biblical times, people didn't even have last names. And it used Mary Magdalene as an example because they were known by the area in which they lived. So that's why she was Mary Magdalene, or she was Mary, the mother of John and Joseph. You understand what I'm saying? Because people knew you by your children's name, or you're the mother of so-and-so. And so I copied and pasted that, and I responded back to his post, and I said, this is exactly what I was talking about there. And it specifically said there is no mandate in the Bible where you have to take on your husband's last name. And he says, well, you know, you're limited thinking. You can think what you want, but it is a biblical principle. And I said, okay, well, show me where it says in scripture that a woman has to take her husband's last name and not use her maiden name at all. And he couldn't provide me one. You know why? Because like I said, I'd already Googled and I found several articles that said that is not a mandate by God that you have to do that. He was trying to say, as a man findeth a wife, he finds a good thing. That's fine. But that doesn't say anything about her dropping her maiden name for whatever reason she chooses to do so. So anyway, I told you all that story because he's the kind of person that if your beliefs don't line up with his, you're automatically wrong and you don't know what you're talking about. And I've just come to the conclusion that I'm not going to argue with stupid individuals. I'm going to let them stay stupid because I don't have time to be stupid with you. So he would definitely fall under the judgmental person, always wanting to pass judgment on people. He told me, well, he said one day in a post of his, I forgot what his subject was about, and a couple of us had commented on it. And he said basically that this is why women like me don't have a man, because, you know, we want to be alpha males or something other. He said something to that extent. And I said, no, it's not. I'm not trying to be a man because I can never be a man. I don't care if I got a sex change. I was born a woman and that is what I am. I said, but I know how to speak up for myself. I don't need a man to speak for me. I don't need a man to tell me what to do and make every decision for me. I'm quite aware of quite able of doing that myself. And guess what? If I need help, I know how to go to God in prayer about it. Come on now. But I don't need to find a husband for him to tell me, well, you can't go to school and get a degree, because he likes to use this other term. There's a difference between a woman and a lady. They're two different things. Y'all ain't gonna lie, that man he got under my skin so bad last month. Something he posted, and we went back and forth. I ended up cussing him out. Now, granted, I could have handled that a whole lot better because I could have just not commented at all. But he just took me there. And I was ready, as Erica, a young lady in my church, said, excuse me, she always says, I keep my clown suit ready. So you wanted to clown? Okay, I'll clown right along with you. I was ready for it. You hear what I say? So I said all that to say, these are the types of people that do not deserve your respect or your trust. Okay. So keep that in mind. As always, I'll have everything in the description box, but I'm gonna wrap this video up so I can get on in here and get myself together and be ready to go. But having said that, if you're new to watching my videos, I do car conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure you come back tomorrow and I will have another motivational video for you. If this is not your first rodeo, I want to say welcome back. Y'all know I miss you and I don't get a chance to see you. Go out there. It's Friday. I don't know about you all, but here in the DMV area, it got up to 70-something today. I remember seeing when I went to go get my hair done. So it's down. The temperature has dropped down in, let's see, it won't, I turned the car off, so it won't let me see it. Anyway, the temperature has dropped down into the 60s, but it's still nice. Let me see if it'll show it to me. Hold on. Come on. Oh, it's still 77. I'm sorry. So, yeah, still 77. And so if you're going to go out this evening and you're in the DMV area or wherever you are, really, just be safe. Have fun. Be careful. Be safe. Watch your surroundings. Because there's so much craziness going on in this world, and I don't want to be you. I don't want you to be you. I don't want you to be the next person that ends up getting hurt because of somebody else's stupidity. Okay? So promise me that you will go out here, you'll be safe, have fun.
Phone book update failed.
Thank you. Have fun, but just be careful. I love you all to the moon and back. You know the drill, you know the spiel. There is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing that you can do about it because my love for you will never change. I will always be here to encourage you, to motivate you because I want nothing but the best for you. And that's why I want you to make sure you are surrounding yourself with people that mean you good and not mean you any harm. And if you're not careful, you'll get sucked in to dealing with these people. Love you all. Talk again tomorrow.